All righty, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of
Oh,
Talk Sports. So we are back. We were obviously absent last week thanks to Thanksgiving here in the US of A. Plenty of football going on Thanksgiving. We had stuff going on Thanksgiving, family, food, turkey, all that good stuff. But we are back today to discuss all things winter meetings, touch up on the NHL, NBA, then finish it off with good old fashioned football stuff. It is me and the Dadimal here, live from Texas, Yeehaw Land, HEB land, as Pete likes to call it. Um, Pete and Ray are not here this evening. Pete might jump in later, but no guarantees. He did send us his pick, his little Hudson is having a lovely time this evening. So we're gonna get right into it. Since Dan was not here, I think the last two pods, we definitely need some takes for
well, I
pop
was
news.
with you guys. You were on it, but me, and then I was on the previous one with I think either just Pete or you and Pete.
I think it was just Pete
I think you're right.
because I was sick for that one.
Yeah.
So, but we're good now. So winter meetings start next week. I feels like it's a daily occurrence that in my main chat of friends that we're all arguing constantly about what the Yankees are going to do. We have a bunch of pessimists mixed with a couple optimists. You could tell which fans are broken, which fans just live in perpetual hope and fantasy land and happiness, and others that are in total just despair. Um, Everyone pretty much knows where I stand. Everyone knows where Pete stands. Everyone knows where Ray stands and Jason stands, and everyone knows where the Pooch Man stands. So it's very divided. The Yankee fans, I feel like, are very divided over the last couple of years, and for probably really good reason because some fans are just happy that we win 95 games a year and go to the playoffs every year, and the real fans are not happy that we win 95 games and just get bounced because we have the ability to do so much more. But winter meetings are, like I said, this week. Scooball is in active trade talks. And like the Tigers and Scooball active trade talks with multiple teams. They want an enormous haul for him. Understandably, he's back to back AL Cy Young. And that was the big topic today, which we'll now bring up on the show. Do the Yankees or should the Yankees trade for Tariq Skubal? And I'm going to let Dan kind of start that off first here, and then I'll jump in. So, Dan, what do you think we should do winter meetings wise? Who should we be trading for? Who should we be signing? Should we go after Skubal? What should the Yankees do here in 2025 winter meetings?
So I think the strongest unit on the team is the starting pitching, right? I mean, going into the season, if we're assuming we're going in with a healthy Cole, to assume we're going to have one of the top rotations in all of baseball. And even if that takes some time to develop that way, I'm okay with that. What I would rather them do is shore up the real weaknesses on the team. Um, we need an outfielder. We need a first baseman. If are we going to trade Jazz? Then we need a second baseman. Then we might are we going to stick it out with McMahon at third, or is there going to be a platoon there? What are we doing at catcher? There are so many questions that need to be answered. What are we doing in the bullpen? What are we doing at closer? So many questions need to be answered, and I feel like a lot of those questions that you'd be asking about the starting rotation have already been answered. So that's the last place that I'm going is Tariq Skubal. Let somebody else overpay and send away all their prospects for him. If we're going to get a starting pitcher, I want Paul Skeens. That'd be the one guy who you could convince me go out of your way for a starting pitcher, absolutely go get him. 100% behind it, whatever it takes to get him, almost. Okay, but that's how good I think that dude is. And I want him in pinstripes eventually. But other than that, yeah, I'm not really on the starting pitching market for the Yankees this year.
Okay, which is understandable. I just feel like the Yankees do it all. Call me old fashioned, you
Well,
know. So
I mean, it's dwindling now, right? It already started. We're already getting some big dominoes. Devin Williams to the Mets. Okay, where are the rest of these dominoes going to fall? Who's the closer going to be next year? Are you really convincing me that we're going in with Bednar as the closer? Okay. Um, I don't love that. If you plan on acquiring your closer at the trade deadline, which is what the Yankees do a lot of the time, fine. At least get a couple more arms in the bullpen. But I really need to see these positions get locked down. We need to see these questions get answered. We need to figure out what direction they're truly trying to go in with the prospects that we have in the system that are about to come up that they keep talking about every year. Are we trading them? Are we bringing them up this year? What's the plan? So a lot of these questions are going to be answered, and again, I think there are too many of those for us to be worried about starting pitching market right now.
okay, I mean that's fair. Um, from the first episode of the Yankees hot stove with Jack Curry, I feel like Jack Curry is the only one that I trust with any Yankee news lately because he's been pretty much right on the money the last couple of years. He was
Very good.
running right on the money with Soto when that trade happened. He was right on the money on what the Yankees were going to pivot to last year when they lost Soto. So, kind of trust him and Jeff Passan, the only two people that I trust for Yankee news at all. Um,
Great.
and it was, his first hot stove. I don't know if it was deliberate. I don't know if it was just because that's just the way it is, but it was a very depressing. It was very much, um, Bellinger isn't the top priority. They see Bednar as the closer moving forward. They
Can I tell you what? They don't believe that. There's no way they do. That's them setting us up. And I'm telling you this right now. They're setting us up for that to be what we go into the season with. So set expectations for the fans. And then by trade deadline, if we're good enough, they'll bring in a closer. I guarantee you that's what the plan is at closer. Guaranteed.
or just sign Edwin Diaz, and I'll be happy with that.
That's what I would really love them to do. Go stop messing around, sign the best closer in baseball, right? Make it hurt for your crosstown rivals who you are competing with. Okay? So they need to be in on guys like this. And what are they in on Kyle Tucker? Are they in on Brigman? Are they in on Pete Alonso? Like, we just have no idea what they're gonna do. We really don't.
Which could be a good thing. It means that they're holding their cards close to the chest this time around. Um, I just, there is. It also doesn't help when you have your owner being the dumbest dude on the face of the earth, like doing these Zoom calls and implying that the Yankees don't turn a profit and that he wants payroll lower and that he wants a salary cap and he wants to be under the $304 million threshold. Like being a little too honest with the New York media. So I personally, personally, I don't think they're getting Tucker. I don't think there's any player that they're going to shell out for because I think Hal is so afraid of this upcoming work stoppage that I don't think they spend.
It's so the wrong idea. All right, so I guess one way that you could sell me on it is okay, maybe he just is dead set on this is the amount we're going to spend every year and going forward 5 years from now, 10 years. Maybe he already has all that set. And maybe he sees the Dodgers and their bar is up here now. And he's like, okay, well, we're not going to do that. So we're going to pivot And now we're going to go along with we baseball needs a salary cap. So now we just went from the Death Star to I don't know what desert moon somewhere on the outer rim. I mean, where is this franchise right now? The leadership, I mean, from top down, it has to be questioned, and it doesn't inspire confidence. I don't know many Yankee fans that have confidence in the leadership. I mean, Aaron Judge is 34 years old. I mean, how much longer do you think we have of all of this Herculean type Babe Ruthian shit? It's not going to last forever. So you got a short window here. And yeah, there is going to be a work stoppage. So before he gets real old, let's win a World Series before that work stoppage happens. I mean, it's it's the best thing that you could do for your fan base right now is to commit to winning, right? Give them an amazing product, and then this work stoppage will be so easy for us to swallow. It's going to be tough for us to swallow because we are literally watching the window close, and then you're going to have the work stoppage, and the window's going to close during that too. And then it's like, okay, well, what are we left with after that? You know, Aaron Judge going into 36, 37 age year. What is he going to be then? Not the player he is now, most likely, right? I mean, is he a first baseman by then? I mean, it's just this is peak Aaron Judge, and we're not taking advantage of it, and it should infuriate Yankee fans. Really, it should infuriate them.
Well, I feel like they haven't been taking advantage of peak Aaron Judge's entire time, like his entire career with us. I think the Yankees have just been penny pinching. I mean, I read today that they're spending $54 million on three players that are no longer on the Yankees. You know, so like not only it's just not smart asset allocation. You know, and that's on
Has been great.
yeah, that's on the general manager.
Yeah,
So
I don't love the roster makeup. I've never loved it. They improved it this past year. I felt a little better about it. We had a little bit more left-handed power. You know, from that standpoint, it made more sense. But we still, I mean, from catcher to first base to all the DHs, I mean, we've got problems that need to be solved, and they need to get solved now.
I think you solve your first base problem by getting Pete Alonso.
I'm in. Do it.
That's who I want at first base. He's not going back to the Mets. That's pretty clear. He's not going back. You don't opt out of your contract the day you get eliminated from the postseason in the clubhouse. I think there's a
Right.
lot. I think there's a lot going on in that Mets clubhouse based off of what the New York Post has reported.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of it could be bullshit, and I'm sure some of it is real. There's always a hint of truth in a sea of nonsense.
The one thing that's nonsense, if you don't mind me interjecting real quick, is the whole whether Lindor and Soto are friends. Nobody cares. Okay, they don't have to be friends. There have been so many good teams in the history of any sport that you can imagine where the best players on the team hated each other. So that's nonsense, and it's a non-story.
Yeah, that's fair. What I feel like is a story in that clubhouse is if Lindor really is a leader, because now we've seen multiple instances with him and McNeil blowing up. Brandon Nimmo, who is a lifetime Met, wanted a no trade clause in his contract because he didn't want to leave the Mets, and they granted him that. All of a sudden, decides it's okay for him to get traded to Texas, who's not going to win at all this year, and it was straight up for Simeon. So that was very head scratching. Rich, by the way, when baseball season starts, says he wants to be on the podcast a lot because he's not really happy with the Nimmo trade. He's not happy with the Devin Williams signing. He's not really happy with what they're doing right now.
I,
And
I don't blame them.
I don't blame him either. Like it's very, very odd. Because Simeon's 36 and had a really rough year last year and making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not that it matters to Steve Cohen, but it's just a very odd trade because Nimmo
He's
was
not
a
the
good
player he
player.
was.
No, he's not the player he was, and it was a straight up trade, which was really head scratching.
Right.
So I don't really know what the Mets are doing. I mean, because they need a lot of players too. They need pitching. Edwin Diaz is 50-50 and coming back. They may lose Edwin Diaz. I mean, it might get worse before it gets better for
Okay.
Queens.
Can I tell you something? And I try to keep it really clean on this podcast, but this what's his name for the this general manager for the Mets,
Stearns.
um, David Stearns. I mean, he is such a pretentious prick. I mean, you listen to him speak, and he's so much smarter than you because he uses terms like run prevention instead of just saying fucking defense. So I'd be really pissed if I were a Met fan right now. And doesn't matter how much money you have. I mean, and you know what? Steve Cohen might get this whole entertainment set up, the casino, the hotel, the whole 9 yards, that whole Metroplex is going to make him a lot of money. Doesn't mean he knows how to run a baseball team.
Yeah, and so far that's unfortunately been proving true right now. I mean, the Mets had one of the worst collapses in baseball history last season. You know, they were in the NLCS against the Dodgers 2 years ago, and then failed to make the postseason with the biggest free agent signing in the history of American sports. So, I mean, I feel like it wasn't talked about enough because the Yankees were in the playoffs and were in the middle of beating Boston. So I just feel like it should have been a bigger story than it was, but it wasn't. And, that's what happens in the New York sports. It's just what happens. The team that's winning is going to get talked about more than the team that's losing, unless it's football, because then no one cares. Everyone just is a target because Jets and Giants are complete poopy shitty, and we'll get to them later. And I can't wait to unleash on my big blue. But yeah, I think the Yankees need to sign Pete Alonso. I think that fits perfectly for first base. I think he's going to fit perfectly in Yankee Stadium. He doesn't get to move too far. I think it would be. I mean, because Hal can be a little petty, as we know. Hal can be a little bit petty, and so can Brian Cashman. I think they're little, as Pete likes to call it, petty betties. And
Yeah.
signing Pete Alonso would be a little jab, little jab at the crosstown rival for taking Juan Soto. And if they get Edwin Diaz too, I think that's jab number two. There's no way you can't convince me that that's not on their minds. I think they're trying to figure out if they could figure out both of them in there. In terms of catcher, I think Ben Rice should be the catcher every day, and it's just that simple. He has such a great bat, batted 275 last year, incredible speed, just hits extra base hits all day long. And I like Wells, but he's not a better hitter than Ben Rice. And you could probably platoon those two for defensive situations. And Ben Rice can platoon with Stanton as a DH because this is Stanton's last year in pinstripes. This is the last year of his contract. Um, Yankee legend, in my opinion, always delivered, class act, professional
Yeah.
leader in that clubhouse. I like Jazz in terms of the second baseman issues. I don't think we like, unless there's a clear and obvious upgrade to Jazz Chisholm, then we should stick with Jazz Chisholm. I mean, he had 30 steals last year. Didn't
I'm
really
I'm
hit.
I'm good if we keep him. I'm good if we send him packing
Yeah,
for an
that's kind
upgrade.
of my feeling too. Need a third baseman. I love McMahon. I think he was great in the postseason for us. Had some defensive gems. He's
I
obviously
like that.
he's under team control for a few years, so we don't have to
Keep
worry
him.
about defense at third base. But if you can get Alex Bregman to play third base, man, that would be nice. One of the best postseason hitters of our generation and proven World Series winner. There's no guarantee he goes back to Boston. I mean, we all knew that was a 1 year stint anyway. So he's looking for a similar deal. He might just do this whole 1 year, 3 year deals with opt outs and just keep testing the market. If you want to win, if you're the Yankees, give him a 2 year deal for 80 million or whatever, and see if you could win. And we don't know what's going on with the outfield because this Grisham thing has just fucked everything up. I mean, you can't offer someone the qualifying offer if you did not think they were going to take it because
If
especially
that's really the position that we're in now, if this is true and they really didn't want to do it and they did it because they had a hunch that somebody might be willing to go in on them, then shame on them. I mean, that's such a black eye to start the postseason. That's how you're beginning the postseason is we don't want this guy, but we don't want to lose him for nothing. No, it's one or the other. You either want him in your lineup next year or you don't.
I completely agree. And I've been scouring the internet looking for if that was really the case. And every report that I have read via Jack Curry and Michael Kay on the radio is that was kind of the feeling was they didn't really want to they it kind of threw a wrench. Giving 22 million to Grisham is throwing a wrench. And you know what? If that
I
is the
don't care about
case,
the money.
yeah, I don't care about the money either. The money shouldn't matter.
It doesn't.
But now it's like, oh well, I guess we should start
Oh,
Trent Grisham.
okay. Yeah, well, guess what? He had a really great season for you. And no, you know what? Not every player, even the best players in baseball, don't perform in the playoffs. But he had a ridiculous season, and he was a plus in center field. I mean, you have to expect that the plus in center field is going to stay there, right? So I feel good about him on the team, but of course, I don't feel good about the way that they went about this whole situation. I mean, yeah, if you didn't want him, then trade him. I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? What was the plan going into this year? What was the plan? And what do you mean it threw a wrench into the plan? Is this a cop out? Are you trying to now limit our expectations on what's going to be a cold offseason, a bitter offseason, while we watch teams like the Blue Jays continue to spend and forget the Dodgers, but everybody around us is going to be spending, and we're going to be here, sucking on our thumb. So yeah, I'm frustrated that this could potentially be a big zero.
Yeah, I think a lot of Yankee fans are frustrated too because, I mean, I would love Bellinger back. I thought he was great for us. He had one of the best years of his career with us here last year. I would love to have him back. I think I would love Kyle Tucker too, but I don't think the Yankees are
You're
going to
not
shell
getting
out.
both of them. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
they're
getting
not going
both
to
of them.
shell out for Tucker. If anything, they'll bring Bellinger back and maybe they trade Dominguez or Jones or the almighty Spencer Jones, who now may not see the field. They may keep him in AAA because Grisham is back, and oh well, we want him to continue to develop, and
No, if he is what they say he is,
he
then
should
they
play.
will call him up and he will take the job from Grisham, right? If that's what he is, if he's that good, then he'll simply take the job. So I don't want to hear it.
Well,
I don't want to hear it.
we know what this team does.
I mean, that's such baloney, man. I mean, how how far are you going to go to sell this BS, all this crap to your fan base? I mean, we see right through it. I mean, it's becoming predictable at this point, and that's so bad that it means we know what he's going to do. Like sometimes even before he does it. So if it's a cold off season and he really doesn't make any moves, the notable moves, bringing back Bellinger, is that going to completely satisfy the Yankee fan base? I don't know. Probably not.
No.
So we got a lot of work to do, man. And I don't see a lot of work getting done.
I'm right there with you. I don't see I don't get a sense of any urgency from this team to fix these holes. I think they're
Or
totally
answer the questions or lead in some kind of direction. What's the plan? There is no plan. And that's the frustrating. I really don't think there is a solid plan.
yeah. I think they had like an outline of like, oh well, we're gonna we'll offer Grisham this, and he'll probably go to, someone else will probably take him. We'll get a draft pick for it, and then we could go all in on Bellinger, and then blah 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 bargain bin shop here and there. And now Grisham's back. It's like, oh well, shit. I guess So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
we weren't sure if he was going to take, but now that he did, we might go over the luxury tax. So no, that's going to hurt too much.
that dreaded $300 million apron. That's just so
Yeah.
debilitating to Hal Steinbrenner's, three yachts that he has. Like I don't want to hear it. I'm a pessimist. I don't believe anything until it actually happens. I don't see this team. I mean, the reason why we had such a crazy offseason last year with all those signings was because Hal got pissed because Juan Soto left the Yankees. And when he gets pissed, he lets Brian Cashman just go crazy because he's sensitive. And all us Yankee fans know Hal's sensitive. But there's nothing right now that pisses Hal Steinbrenner off. And actually, what's pissing him off is how much money he's spending on this payroll. So I don't think any major moves will be made. I don't think we bring back Bellinger. I don't think we get Tucker. I don't think we get any of these big moves. I think we may get one. Like I could see us maybe getting Pete Alonso, and then like you said, trading for bullpen arms like at the trade deadline, and like platooning Ben Rice and Wells at catcher. And I'm sure they're totally fine with playing McMahon at third base every day because, well, we gave up assets for McMahon and we really like McMahon. And, so I just think they're run by geeks and I think they're run by analytics. And whenever Cashman gets on the radio and people question that, he's like, oh, it's just not true. And people always say that. And I just brush it off. And it's like, well, why are we saying it?
Right.
So
If
if you,
people always say it, then why do they always say it?
yeah, if
Why,
we're
what's
saying
the
it,
reason?
if we're saying it all the time, right? Every offseason we're saying it. And every time you get on the radio, because he does do the press conferences, he doesn't shy away. He's a vet at this. He's been doing this for 15 years.
Mm,
Yeah, well, it's just not true, and I laugh at it all the time. It's like, all right, well, then how come we're not winning and the other teams are? It's like the postseason isn't a crapshoot because the Dodgers keep winning, and the Blue Jays are now winning a lot. Like the blueprint is clearly there: strong rotation, strong bullpen, offense that lights the world on fire. So we have a strong rotation. Our bullpen is not that great, and our lineup right now is not that great. We had a strong lineup last year. It was putting up a lot of runs. We were hitting a lot of home runs. But if we lose Bellinger, then that's a big hole in the outfield that you either better replace with Spencer Jones, this left-handed Aaron Judge that everyone is talking about. And I swear to God, if this kid comes up and he stinks for a month, this fan base is going to be mad.
well,
Because,
the problem is now now there's so much pressure
yes, I
on
actually
Spencer
mentioned this.
Jones.
I mentioned this in a previous podcast. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's saved. But I said now there is an unrealistic expectation for this kid because he is a kid. Remember
Right.
all these expectations for Dominguez? Oh, the Martian. He hits balls out of space. It's like they were hyping him up and they didn't even play him. Like
You
barely
were the
played him.
only Yankee fan I knew out of all of anybody I knew that was excited about Aaron Judge coming up through the system. I was like 6'7". I was like, he's going to get hurt. I was like, you can't play that many games in baseball and expect your body to hold up. And he is Babe Ruth 2.0. I mean, it's insane.
He's the best player we may ever see.
Yeah,
So
it's
should
really
have
that
he
simple.
should have four MVPs. He should have won it as rookie, and they were never going to give it to a rookie. And
Right.
everyone was sucking on Houston because they're like, oh, the Houston Astros, what a story, So it was all bias, and the New York bias is real as well. So they're never going to giving it to a 24-year-old rookie that was just smashing the ball. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought there was something special in that, and I thought this could be, a prototype. Maybe we see this as a different kind of athlete in baseball, and they're trying to recreate it. It looks like with Spencer Jones, and he's a lefty, and he should be the left fielder. or the center fielder. If Bellinger is not coming back and you're sold on not spending all this big time money,
Then bring him up.
then you better bring him up. He better be on the opening day roster. And I want that image of that outfield with those monsters out there, 6'7" and 6'7", taking pictures for the bleacher creatures. Then that you'll get me excited. But that kid better hit, because if he doesn't hit, we know this fan base and we know this market and we know this media. They'll kill Cashman
Yeah.
for it.
And he'll lose his confidence really quick
Yeah. So
if that happens.
you better do it. And that's just that's that. I guess that's just that. I hope for the best, but I always expect the worst, and that's pretty much what the Yankee fan has had to endure. Because, like you said, there is going to be a work stoppage. It might be for the whole year, because it's going to be about a salary cap, and there's going to be half the league that wants it and the other half that doesn't want it, and it's going to be a fucking fight to the end. And these owners don't care because they're cheap anyway. They'll be like, I'll sit a year, you know?
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, prepare for possibly more than a year.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, that's how dug in I think some of these owners are going to be on this.
I
But
agree.
we want to touch on the Mets real quick for all the Mets fans out there who listen to our podcast. They signed Devin Williams. I know you said Rich wasn't happy about that. 3 years, 51 million. Traded Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Simeon. Very interesting move. Not an overly popular move. Pete Alonso. It's been reported that Stearns is dug in and not moving past the 4 year contract, which means Pete Alonso is probably gone. And one of the targets, I guess you could say that they could possibly bring in, um, would be like a Kyle Tucker or a Cody Bellinger or a Schwarber. I've heard Schwarber linked to the Mets. That'd be interesting, but that's a lot of strikeouts. And it looks like Jeff McNeil is definitely going to get traded. It's like an 80% chance at this point. Is one of the guys that apparently was not a great locker room fit. And they have also been linked to Framber Valdez and Cody Bellinger and Joe Ryan. So we'll see what happens. But they're at least moving and doing things. I just don't think Met fans like what they're doing.
Yeah. That's the general census so far, is they're not super happy with the early returns. Because, next week is, like I said, winter meetings. There's a lot of deals that do happen during winter meetings because everyone is there. Everyone's hanging out together. That's when a lot of signings happen. Soto was signed during winter meetings, and a lot of big moves happen during winter meetings. So next week should be interesting. Hopefully it is interesting, and hopefully it brings good news, or it'll just be more of status quo for the Yankees. Come to Disneyland. Come see the 6'7", 282-pound home run king, and his twin brother, Spencer Jones. So we'll move on from baseball. We got some other things to cover. We're going to touch a little bit on NHL and NBA. In the NBA world, Knicks and Nets doing their thing right now. Nets doing the tank job. The continuous tank job continues. Michael Porter Jr. is actually having a very good year so far, averaging over 25 points a game, 45% from three, five 3-pointers made a game, leading the league in that category. Might be a really good trade piece to continue the rebuild, or they keep him as a foundation piece. He's still young. We'll see what they do with that. They're Igor Denham, their prized pick at 8th overall, doing okay. He had a rough couple weeks to start the season. He's really turning it around. He's shooting a lot of threes. He's being a playmaker. Danny Wolf doing okay when they brought him up with the G League. The Nets have a lot of young players. They have a lot of young players that they're getting a lot of minutes right now, trying to develop, seeing what you have. They have, when you have that many first round picks and you spend all 5 of them instead of trading on them, Sean Marks is throwing darts and going, let's see if I just hit one. And because they're looking at the Celtics, they're looking at the Thunder. That's how they built their teams, and that's what they want to do. I mean, the Thunder just won the championship, and they have 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft, and the Nets have 3 first-round picks, and the Nets also put themselves in position to trade for a disgruntled star. If they feel so inclined to do so, we'll see if they actually do, if they keep this youth movement going. In terms of the Knicks, Mike Woodson's Knicks, they're 14-7 right now, blowing out the Jazz because I mean the Jazz haven't been good since Karl Malone was a thing.
It was 23-0 at one point in the first quarter.
Yeah, I read that. Just horrible, just horrible. Um, yeah, I mean the Knicks under Mike Woodson, a lot more bench movement, a lot more use of players, which we all thought was going to happen. When they moved off of Thibodeau. I was one of the people saying that it was a good idea to move off of Thibodeau because Woodson's now trusting his bench. The starters are getting more rest. But the one glaring issue for the Knicks is defense. The Brunson and Cat are they're not good defenders.
No,
And
and they
as
never will
much,
be.
yeah, and they never will be. I mean, it's amazing that Cat isn't a good defender when you're that big and can move that fast. It boggles my mind. Are they in position to revisit the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade that they tried to do in the summer, and compensation just could not be agreed upon. The Knicks don't have a lot of assets because they gave the Nets 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges.
Well, it's that, but really the main hang up in any trade is going to be Cat's contract.
Yes,
because he's most likely going to be the piece that gets moved.
Yes, and it's do the Bucks want to take that? So
it would probably be a third team getting involved.
Yeah, it would have to be a third team willing to take salary and for a pick, like the Nets, who they love to do.
Possibly.
The Nets love to do that. That's like Sean Marks's thing: is take on some team's money, but you better give me a pick. And
right.
that's like his whole deal. So, I mean, the Knicks have been playing well. From what I've seen on Knicks Twitter, because Twitter is amazing, the general consensus is it's kind of 50-50. Knicks fans are a little hesitant to break up what they got going on right now. Because a lot of them were trying to see what this would look like under Woodson with...
I'm not hesitant.
I'm sure you're not hesitant. I wouldn't be hesitant either. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I was going to say, you have a chance to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. You do everything you can to get him in there and match him with Brunson. And now we look at the defense and we see.
Well, defense automatically gets better.
Right.
I mean, all of a sudden your defense is fixed. I mean, that's a defensive player of the year too, in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now it's a very interesting situation because he just strained his calf and he's going to be out 4 weeks. So, he was very upset because he knows he probably wants out, right? And when he got hurt on the court, he was like, mother, he was mouthing not so nice words. Because it sucks to get hurt, but now there's this delay a trade with anybody, whether it be the Knicks or maybe there's a West Coast team that's trying to sneak in there to get it. Or
it's probably a blessing in disguise because what it's going to do is it's going to give all of these teams the time that they need to find that additional team. It's going to take 3 teams to get a deal done.
It will.
So it's going to give them all the way up until basically the trade deadline. I mean, in my opinion, they could make that work. They could acquire him at the deadline and be ready to compete by playoff time.
Yeah, because he's going to be out a minimum a month. It just came out today. He's going to be out a minimum 4 weeks.
Yeah, he might be out longer than that.
Yeah, if they're smart, they'll keep him out as long as possible. Yeah. And I mean, they had the Bucks. Giannis and his agent had the meeting a couple days ago to discuss his future, and nothing came out of it. Maybe that's for a reason. Maybe they're trying to keep everything hidden and close to the chest. Maybe there's a behind-the-scenes bidding war going on for Giannis. Not too sure, but it looks like he might be the next player that's moved.
I mean, he said he wanted out.
Yeah, well, he requested a trade in the summer, and when he reported the training camp, Cooler heads apparently were prevailing, and he was open to the idea of playing for the Bucks this year alongside Miles Turner to form a good front court. It's not like the Bucks are a bad team right now. It's
No,
just whether he
they're
wants
not
to.
really a contending team, but
No, it's whether he wants to be there still. And you know what? He's Milwaukee royalty. I think they would treat him right. I think if he says, "Hey, I want to be a Knick," or "Hey, I want to be a Cavalier," or "Hey, I want to be a Laker." Like I think they would do what it takes with enough compensation to send him where he would like
oh,
to go.
I think that's already been in the works. I think he's already told them he wants to be a Knick. I think
Yes.
it's been in the works. I think they are going to be patient with it. They're not going to be in a rush. It doesn't matter that I mean, maybe if he wasn't hurt, they get a deal done before the month is out. I don't know. That to me seemed a little unrealistic. I think it's really going to take until it gets to the deadline to get a third team involved, personally. So, with that being the case, that's when I would expect it.
Okay. Yeah, and that's probably when it will happen. And it's good for the Knicks. When the Knicks are good and basketball is good, um, you know, the, it takes stars to win in this league. You need
Yep.
stars. You either need to develop, you either need to draft stars, you need to trade for stars. And as a Nets fan who's had both, whether it be trading for stars or drafting stars, um, it's nice to have them.
And
So
to play devil's advocate for the Knicks for a second, yeah, you know what? They have won five of their last six. OG Anunoby is close to coming back. I love OG Anunoby. What a terrific player. I mean, two-way player, gives all out effort on defense every single time, is a plus plus defender on everybody he plays against. I mean, he really does change everything for the Knicks when he's on the court. So to play devil's advocate, like I said, I understand where these Knicks fans are coming from, where they just want status quo. Where I think we're going to get status quo. So we'll see. We'll see if it's good enough when he comes back, and if this team gets healthy, and we'll see what it looks like under Woodson, like you said before. But I just, to me, it's the combination of Cat and Brunson's defense is such a huge weakness. It's almost impossible to cover up, and Mitchell Robinson isn't available enough to cover it up.
yeah, yeah, it's the defense is too poor, and they need someone. Maybe when Anobi comes back, like you said, the defense all this improves heavily. Um, and maybe that's fixes it. And then maybe they go on this 10-12 game run of just smashing people.
I think they will go on a run anyway.
Yeah,
I think they will. The East is so bad, dude.
it's been
I
bad
I
for
mean,
years,
it's
years.
it's so terrible. It's like the bottom of it is just like it's just the worst garbage you've ever seen on a basketball court. It's unwatchable. It's such a poor product. I mean, no wonder why the NBA does so shitty in these markets every year, like Washington. Um, but anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, they do have a G League prospect, the Knicks also. Ding, I don't know what his last name, how to pronounce it, but it's Dink Pate or Pate, showing some promise right now as a future building block. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yes. So I mean, that's kind of all I have to say about the NBA. It's very early in the season,
Yeah.
but there was that Giannis news. I'm actually going to let you cover the NHL because usually Ray's the go-to guy for Chell. I'm very honest here. I'm very fair weather. I'm a fair weather Ranger fan. I watch him on the social medias. I stay up to date with the scores and the records. And, I don't really know too much about what's going on. So I'll kind of let you take over with the Islanders and Rangers and stuff like that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've been following it especially close this year. Haven't been able to watch many games, as you know, living down here in Texas, but still following it. The Rangers, um, really, really good start. They're 15, 12, and 2, but their road record is insane. They have 12 wins out of their 15 have come on the road. And, you know, they've gotten really good performances from Panarin, Zibanejad. Um, Things are looking pretty good right now for them. I'm sure Ray is happy overall with the direction of the team, but I am still curious to get his take on the team. The Islanders, you know, kind of the same thing, actually a little better. They're 15, 10, and 3. They beat the Avalanche last night. The Avalanche have been a unit. They not last night, but 2 nights ago, they beat them 6-3. Barzell has been really good to start the season. He was one of these guys who I've been on the fence with for a couple of years, and I was like, just trade him, get what you can for him. Well, he's been good, and Patrick Waugh has been good, and Bo Horvat has been the leader that this team needed. They've stabilized that goalie. They've got this guy I can never is Rittich, who's now backing up Sorokin. So they're totally stable at goalie again, which they were not last year. So they're looking good right now. That's pretty much all I have.
Okay, and that's fine. You know, it's the NHL is the same thing as the NBA. You know, the season is very early. It's 82
Yep.
games. Things don't really get exciting until February. So that's fine. And yeah, because like I said, I try my best. I always watch the Rangers in the playoffs. You know, I'm just not a hockey guy. I just try my best. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So we'll go right to football here. Dan's got a whole table created by the AI for last week's games, and I have picks for this week. Pete sent in his picks, so we'll kind of run down through everything here, and then I'll just kind of maybe lose my mind a little bit. So, but go ahead and start us off.
Um, okay, so the Packers and Lions, I think that was the first game on Thanksgiving. 31-24. Packers pulled that one out. Jordan Love, really, really good. Looked comfortable. That was a really, man, that was one of those type of games where it's like that changes your season, right? So the fact that he had that kind of game, that should show some promise. Or it should change the mind maybe of some of his doubters because he has had a lot of doubters. He looks pretty strong right now to me. Their overall team looks good. I like the coach, like the direction of the team. We just saw the Lions bounce back against the Cowboys. It was a pretty good game. They look strong behind their crowd, and they probably secured a playoff victory with that win. Probably, but they're still not 100% yet.
Yeah.
What do you have on that game?
So, yeah, I thought that was a good game. I thought that was like a metric game, right? I thought that was a measuring stick type game for both the Lions and the Packers. And I thought that was a statement win by the Packers. Because that division is wild, man. I mean, the NFC North is going to have three teams probably go to the playoffs. And it may be the Bears winning the division, which is crazy. And we'll get to the Bears probably soon here in a minute.
I've got the Packers.
The Packers, because of that tie, I think might give them that edge at the end of the year in terms of the division. But yeah, I thought Jordan Love was really impressive, and Jordan Love absolutely has his doubters. I mean, he got paid after that 1 year, and we were like, oh, I don't know, like. Is this guy $55 million after 1 year? There was a lot of doubters, and she's having a good season. Definitely seems like he's worth the money. The team is a complete team. Special teams is good. Micah Parsons having a career year. They just look really, really good.
And the rookie receiver isn't even producing for them.
No, and that's very interesting.
So they're getting really good production out of all their other younger receivers. I mean, they have a very young room. I mean, it's possible it could take 2 to 3 years for that kid to develop. And when he does, then he's going to join as one of the a top producer in that room. But for now, I mean, that's a strong unit, man. One guy gets hurt, another guy, whims comes in. Okay, fill in, catch a touchdown. Like they just have guys pop up out of nowhere. It's really amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's just a little upsetting. It's upsetting to see, this kid not really, pan out yet. And,
But you know what, Zach? I said this is the difference between what the NFL is now compared to what the NFL used to be. Like right, Pete, Ray, and myself, we grew up watching receivers take 2 to 3 years to develop. Now these guys come into the league and they produce right away. So we still see it sometimes with receivers. It have, we're there have, I mean, I don't know. I can't really name any off the top of my head, but you, I feel like there's room for that. I still feel like that could be a thing where it just could take a guy some years to develop, some time to develop. Was he a little bit of a one-trick pony out of Texas? Yeah, I'll tell you, I watched every game, and dude just took the top off the defense. I mean, dude separated, nobody could stay with him. It's not like that in the NFL. People are going to stay with you. I mean, unless you have that Deion Sanders speed, people are going to stay with you.
yeah. And I just think that could be what he's trying to adjust to. He also hasn't been healthy. So that's always never good. So
Yeah.
we'll see what he does. But yeah, like you said, Lions looking strong after last night's win. Wasn't overly concerned with their loss, against the Packers because everyone was kind of like, if either team wins or loses, they both will probably still be in there. But that game really showed like who is better, and I think that's what that showed.
I I do agree. Um, and then next up was the most watched game in the history of North American sports, and that was Chiefs Cowboys. What a killer game. Cowboys pulled it out. I mean, it really could have went to either team. I feel like I feel like it's really been a struggle for Mahomes this year. You get the sense looking at him, especially at the end of these games after they're losing, and he's a little frustrated. You know what I mean? It's not like it was in years past where it looked so easy.
Not used to
So
losing.
yeah, he's not used to it, and this would be the first year in his career that he wouldn't make it to the AFC Championship game if they don't make the playoffs. And right now, it's looking like that's a possibility.
Yeah. And it's not like the team is bad. Like they have Rasheed Rice. I mean, the running game is not good. Well, we will say that. The Pacheco has never been the same post his broken leg, which sucks. Kareem Hunt is ancient for a running back, looking like Eddie Lacy out there at times. But I mean, the receiving core has actually been good for Mahomes this year. Rasheed Rice, when he came back, Kelsey's actually having a good year at 37.
Yeah,
Um, the
has been good. They just don't feed him enough.
yeah, the O line has been hurt this year.
Yeah, that's been a
There's
big problem.
yeah three starting linemen are going to be out this week, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
I just think it's one of those years. I think Mahomes and Chiefs fans are just in for, you know what? It's just not our year.
you're spoiled. I mean,
Spoiled.
enjoy everything that you've seen for the last 8 years. Really. I mean, because that doesn't happen. So,
No, it doesn't at all. It only happens with Tom Brady. So,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, Cowboys got a huge win that game, and then they played last night, and unfortunately, the defense just wasn't there, and the Lions just blew the doors off, and was a good game. But Dallas is, they might be on the outside looking in, because the NFC for once is loaded this year. There's a lot of parity in the NFC, whereas the AFC is, a little bit maybe more top heavy. Um, Not really too many contenders in the AFC this year. Maybe only a couple teams. Most of the contenders are in the NFC. So was a good win for the Cowboys, and then to have the momentum kind of get blown out by they weren't blown out by the by the Lions. What I mean is the momentum that they had off of that Chiefs game was the wind was taken out of the sails a little bit.
Definitely.
So that's what I have to say for that one.
And then the capper on Thanksgiving was Bengals Ravens. Man, I mean, Ravens fans they must be going through it this year. They were going in thinking Super Bowl, and now they're just hurting bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically get blown out in a divisional game on Thanksgiving on national television. That's a really bad look. So 34 to 14 final, or 32 to 14, pardon me, was the final score in that one.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was back. Looked pretty good, in his first game back. But yeah, I mean the rate Lamar's having the worst year of his career. So, worst year since his rookie year. Worst. He's either not healthy
He's
or
hurt.
yeah, I think he's hurt. I
It's
think
got to be multiple ailments. It has to be.
because he just doesn't even look right. Like he's afraid to run.
Yeah,
He had a
his
couple
throws
big
are
plays.
inaccurate.
Yeah. Well, he had a couple big plays. He had two touchdown passes taken back by penalties in that game too. In all fairness,
True.
but still, there was that big 50-yard touchdown bomb to Zay Flowers that was called back, and Isaiah Likely fumbling the ball at the goal line. So that's not really on Lamar. So he should have had two touchdown passes. But I mean, the turnovers are a big issue. Um, the Ravens they don't have it this year, and whether because Lamar's hurt too much. I mean, now is Derrick Henry back next year? Is he the same Derrick Henry next year? Because he's getting up there, and what's his team going to look like? And there's going to be a lot of free agents, and a lot of question marks for the Ravens. In terms of the Bengals, just kind of just play spoiler, I guess. I mean, the division very technically is still up for grabs with 4 weeks remaining, because the Steelers are nothing special this year either, and they've been widely inconsistent. So, I mean, there's a world where I could see Joe Burrow and the Bengals maybe scraping together a couple wins, and I could also see the Steelers scraping a couple wins, but I don't see the Ravens making it to the postseason at all, maybe this year.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, what Joe Burrow has won his last 8 regular season starts, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's been pretty good when he's healthy. The problem is when he's healthy.
Yes.
The Black Friday game, Bears versus Eagles, man, this is one that I certainly didn't see coming. I know how improved the Bears have been. But when you have two guys run for over 150 yards or whatever it was a piece and each run for a touchdown, I mean, that hasn't happened just for the Bears since the 80s with Walter Payton and whoever his teammate was, just to give you an idea. I mean,
Yeah, it was an
to
historic
get
one.
gashed on the ground like that is,
Wow.
for a team as talented as the Eagles, that's an eyebrow raiser.
Yeah. I mean, the Bears are one of the best stories in the NFL this year. I mean, Ben Johnson is the real deal. And I think everyone kind of knew he'd be the real deal. One of the better, more talented coordinators that we've seen in recent hiring cycles. Bears are sitting at 9-4. They're sitting at the number one seed in the NFC. Caleb Williams very quietly having a really good year. No one's really talking about it.
I don't think Ben Johnson's in love with Caleb Williams. I don't think he's having a great year. I don't know. I
I
think
don't
he
think
should
he's
be having a
having
much better year.
what?
I think you should be having a much better year.
Let's pull up his numbers. I think he's having a pretty decent year. I know he's having a better year than his rookie year. That's for damn sure.
Well, yeah, his rookie year was an abomination. But if you put a gun to if you put a gun to that coach's head and you say Caleb Williams or give me the field this offseason, I don't know, man.
Well, right now, he's at 2,700 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 picks with a passer rating of 88.2.
What's his completion percentage?
Let's see. Load. Um, 58%.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's unacceptable, and that will not work in any respectable coach's offense. So,
He is 18th in total QBR. So he's
right.
very, very middle of the pack. He's not turning the ball over, which is, I guess, the only good thing.
And if he were,
Oh boy.
that'd be a quick hook, dude. I'm telling you, this coach is not messing around. He's the face of the team. The quarterback has nothing to do with the team. Okay. That's his team. He is the whole identity right now. He's made it in his image. It's an awesome story. I'm happy for Bears fans. However, you still don't have a quarterback that I would feel very confident about going into next year. That's just me. I don't know. And are we ever going to stop with painting the fingernails?
No.
Okay.
Literally never. So,
Okay.
hey, really, just really hate to say it.
Anyway,
Anyway, notorious Eagles hater here on the hot mic. Listen, they're a great team. The Eagles are a very, very talented team, but there is absolutely no reason for them to be this awful on offense. I mean, they are historically bad on offense this year. They have a negative point differential going into week 14. Jalen Hurts probably is having the worst year of his career since his rookie year. Um, there's many people wanting this offensive coordinator to get out of town.
they're gonna fire him.
Yeah, they'll eventually fire him, but I think the biggest thing that's most surprising is Saquon. I mean, at this point last year, he was at 1,750 rushing yards. He's at 760 right now. Just an insane fall off for someone that had 2,000 yards last year. The offense line has stayed the same. I don't know if it's
It
this.
has not. Well, no, they lost Becton.
Oh, okay, they lost Becton, but losing one lineman shouldn't mean lose 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's just another year of tread on the tires. I don't know what it is,
It
but
it looks like an older, more worn down offensive line.
it
It,
very
it,
well
it
could be.
really does. I mean, we're being honest.
Yeah, it very, very
Lane
well
Johnson
could.
isn't what he was.
Probably not. And AJ Brown, I guess, wasn't. I guess he was happy this week, right? He was probably happy
You
that
know
week.
what? It's like you said. You were right. He's going to be a Patriot next year. You could. I mean, it's already freaking done. It seems like, man. There's no way he'll continue with the Eagles. There's no way the front office wants to continue with him. I mean, the quarterback is not the problem. AJ, everybody else on that team needs to understand, okay, that they didn't have two of the greatest games that a quarterback has played in the Super Bowl ever. Okay. I mean, really, when you look at it statistically, you put his two games against any other quarterback who has played two games, it's not even close. So, this idea that Jalen Hurts isn't any good, I'm done with it. That's so over with. That was over with way before he won his first Super Bowl. So it was over actually when he had the performance that he did in his first one. Like, okay, I'm not going to kill him over the one play that didn't turn out positive because the rest of the game was a masterpiece. So when you have that game in the biggest game in the sport, I'm sorry, you are like in the upper echelon of quarterback. So this argument that he isn't any good, I hope we could put that to rest soon. I don't see guys like Josh Allen rushing for or having, a freaking MVP season, like the way everybody expected him to, right? So things happen. These guys are human. It's not always going to work out perfect. Everybody else on these other teams get paid too. They're very good players. It doesn't change that. So I I need to get that off my chest. I know that there was a lot of bias, a lot of hate towards the Eagles, especially from Giants fans. I can respect that. Okay, but you got to stop with the Jalen Hurts stuff. It's embarrassing at this point.
That's fine and that's fair, but he was the reason why they lost that game
I don't
this
care.
past week. Um,
And he would tell you that, by the way.
yeah, I'm sure he would. Yeah, he was awful that game, and
Right.
Twitter is so fun. Twitter is so fun with the discourse with Jalen Hurts. I think will go on forever, because I think that the only time anyone will ever really be satisfied is, well, if you put him on the Titans, is he as good as he is? No, probably not. I don't think anybody really would be. But
Yeah.
I mean, the Titans are just abysmal. But I also don't
Right.
think I don't think that quarterback is doing much to help elevate the talent around him either. I just think that I just think this is what Jalen Hurts is. This isn't a quarterback that's going to throw for 4,000 yards every year because he hasn't, and he hasn't yet, and he probably never will. And I don't think Eagles fans care
I,
about that.
I think he will. I just think he hasn't grown into that type of player yet. He's still a young player. I mean, he really hasn't been in the league that long.
No, he's what, 5 years, 6 years?
Isn't this his fifth year?
I think so. I think fifth year.
Gotta be. I mean, fifth year sounds even long. I mean, they took him in the second round, right?
Mm, I think so. Yeah, second rounder. Yeah, he was in the second round. Yeah, this year he's 16th in total QBR right now.
Okay. Listen, I don't think he's having a great time. It doesn't look like he's having a lot of fun.
No, he's really not. And I think there's a lot of issues going on in that locker room.
Yeah.
And I think the coach is a problem. I think Sirianni is a problem, and Eagles fans will now probably tell you that he is right now. I think the offensive coordinator is a problem. I think there's a locker room problem going on
Yeah,
in that
it
team.
seems like there is. It seems like it's now finally come to a head. They have a ton of talent in that locker room, a ton of egos, a ton of people who want more, more, more. Not enough. Going to two Super Bowls, winning one, not enough now. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's very positive for an Eagle fan, right? So
They're spoiled.
you're not gonna make them very upset with that. It's like, okay, I would love to have those problems as a Jet fan. Give
Yeah,
me
well, of
those
course.
problems every day of the week, please. Give me guys who are so absurd in the locker room because we already won a Super Bowl. We went to two. We're a great team, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. Of course, I want sustained winning for my team. I'm sure Jason and all Eagles fans want sustained winning, and this isn't a good look for them, right? This hasn't been a great year. I'm sure they just either it's going to get fixed or it needs to change this offseason, right? And I think it will.
Yeah. And that owner knows, and that GM knows what to do. They're always ahead of the curve. So if you see, like, if they obviously, I don't think this is possible because they have too many wins, but like if something crazy happens, like they miss the playoffs because the offense just can't do anything, then heads will roll easily. And I think no matter what happens, if they make the playoffs or go on a run, I think AJ Brown is going to be traded. I think he's going to be a Patriot. He's going to
Yeah.
reunite with Vrabel. Drake May is already one of the best quarterbacks in the league, which is insane. And we'll get to the Patriots at some point as well. But yeah, that's just my take. The Eagles are not having a good year this year. Hurts isn't. Hurts has just been not having fun, and AJ Brown's been a huge distraction. And Saquon may not be the same player. The whole line is not the same. The run. They need a retooling, I think, in the offseason. That crazy run of them being this super dominant team on offense, may be coming to an end a little bit here because they're going to have to move off of some pieces. But the defense is young and the defense is elite, and I think the defense will be really good for a long time because of all the young pieces. They just have to really focus on the offense. And the Bears, I'm sure Bears fans are pigs and shit. And
Oh
I know
yeah.
Nikasi is because they haven't been this good since 2018. and their quarterback didn't wasn't really good then either. But I think Caleb Williams is probably better than Mitchell Trubisky, so I'm sure they're happy with that, and that's my takes with that.
Fair enough. No, I mean I would be ecstatic as a Bears fan this year. I mean, you got the coach ripping his shirt off post game. He's so excited about a win on Thanksgiving. So, or I should say Black Friday. Mm, to the regular slate of games, Sunday slate, Jaguars Titans. This one was really nothing worth mentioning because the Titans are so bad
Yeah,
that they just don't even show up anymore.
it's just
So we can skip it if you're good with that.
I'm fine with it. I mean,
Okay.
Cohen's a good coach. I think they made the right hire. He's made Lawrence look competent. The
Yes.
the Jaguars are a team that no one's really talking about, and they're 8-4. And they could possibly win a division. The Titans are a complete mess. It's very obvious I'm sure Ward could be a good player. He's obviously a quarterback that needs other players around him to, I guess, be a good quarterback because he's just looked like shit. Should it maybe they should have took Jackson Dart because Dart is working with shit. So we know what he can do with shit. So, I don't know with the Titans. I mean, it very well could be just there's just stink everywhere. So
Yeah. I think Dart is the type of player who would elevate a team. The question is, how long is he going to play for?
well, don't worry, I'll get to that.
Next was Texans, Colts. And by the way, yeah, I do agree about Liam Cohen. You look at all the teams that are successful in the NFL right now, they all run the ball, they all play defense, and they're all at least tight on special teams. So I agree about Cohen. Texans, Colts. This was actually a really good game, but the Texans pulled it out. Are they a great unit on defense? Held the Colts to 16 points. Now Daniel Jones is playing on a broken leg, so
Jeez.
I'll
What
give
a
him a break.
what a dog.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what? We never questioned his toughness. Giants
Nope,
fans never questioned his toughness. That was never an issue with him here.
nope.
I just think the pressure of New York was too much. Being told to step in post Eli Manning, I think, was too much. And they never protected him enough. The offensive line decided to only get good this year. And of course, when the offensive line is good this year, they only have 2 wins.
Yeah, he's
Um,
not he's not the type of player like a Dart who can elevate a team. You have to have the team,
has to
right?
have the team. And the Colts have had a great year. It really sucks that he has a broken leg and he's trying to play on a broken leg. I mean, that dude's going to get paid by Indianapolis, and he should. He deserves every bit of it.
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor, I mean, hasn't had a good last couple of weeks, but he's the engine of that team. You have to run the ball. Now with Jones have on a broken leg, he's not going to be able to scramble. He's going to be stuck in the pocket. You got to run the ball because if you could run the ball, it makes things easier for Jones. But that was a big win for the Texans, currently fielding the best defense in the league. And they went on a 3-game winning streak with Davis Mills. Stroud comes back. They get the win with Stroud. Um, but that's a quarterback that should be talked about. I mean, ever since his rookie year, Stroud's nothing special. And it's very, very interesting to see this kind of downward trend for CJ Stroud. And it's a little concerning. They're winning a lot right now, and they may pick up some steam, and we'll see what he can do in the playoffs, and maybe that narrative can be turned around. But Stroud's not been good the last 2 years, and he hasn't been good this year. And I think that the Texans have really rode that defense, and they've rode D'Amico Ryans, and I think he's a great coach.
he is.
The running game is working. Um, they're starting to get a little healthy with Nico Collins being healthy, and I think that helps too. But I think they have a question mark at quarterback right now, and I think that's pretty fair to say with all these expectations post rookie year, and we'll see. That was a big win for the Texans. They're still very much alive. The Colts now need to really rely on Taylor. Give him 30 carries a game. I don't care. This is you have a chance to win. Sauce went down with a calf strain. He might be out a couple weeks. The Colts are a complete team. They have a chance to really maybe make a run, but you got to protect Jones, and you do that by running the ball.
Fair enough. And man, Tyler Warren, I mean,
Freak. You know what? Can we talk about that for one quick second? Just one.
yeah,
The Bears picking Colston Loveland over him is egregious, and whoever made that decision needs to be fired. I mean, because what are you doing?
well,
There wasn't even close. They're not even close to being in the same caliber of tight end.
they're
I'm
not.
sorry.
Was it Ben Johnson or was it general manager?
Whoever it was, I don't care. Like, because I know Ben Johnson said, "Oh, he fits my scheme better." How many touchdowns does he have this year? Two.
Yeah, that's an excuse, I think, for making the wrong pick.
Yeah.
How could you make the wrong pick at tight end in that
Some
draft?
people, you know what? I've talked about this before. I just think people sometimes they try to outsmart themselves and they overthink it.
He is
When
one of these dudes that could do that. I'm telling you.
and I think
He
and
he
Ryan
did that
Poles,
calling plays for the Lions the last couple of years.
yeah, and I think that's Ryan Poles too. I mean, because he's made some head scratchers where it's like the obvious player. Like, imagine if the Bears had Tyler Warren right now. I mean, they might have 11 wins. I mean, he's a freak.
He is that big of a difference maker. What he's done for them and in the running game that nobody's talking about. I mean, he better be the offensive rookie of the year. He better be because he is a Hall of Fame player right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how good a player he is.
Yeah, he might win it. I know Emeka Egba might win it too for the Bucks. Um, if Dart has a strong 4-game finish with these bottom feeders, then
No,
it's a quarterback award most of the time too.
I know,
Anyway.
yeah, but you can't sell me that anybody's been better than this kid. Nobody has. He's been the
No,
best
he's
player
he's
from
been
the draft
amazing.
by far.
Yeah, yeah, he's been amazing. So anyway, continue.
All right, so next was Dolphins Saints. I don't know. I guess this is a little closer than everybody expected. 21-17. Dolphins
Both
took.
these teams stink. The
Yeah.
Dolphins stink. The Saints stink. The Saints are morons for spending the 40th overall pick on Tyler Shuck. Like, you passed on Dart twice
Yeah.
to take Shuck. They're terrible. What a shit franchise.
Now, last time I was on the podcast, or it was the time before that, I had mentioned about McDaniel and what I thought about the Dolphins and them firing the GM and him staying. Well, maybe I was wrong because they're playing hard for him still. So maybe these guys still like him. Or maybe they realize that he's not going anywhere and they better play for him if they want to be on the team next year. So I don't know. I mean, that you might get some tough games out of the Dolphins going forward, but the problem is it's December and it's cold now.
Yeah. So no one wants to play now in Miami.
Right. Next was Falcons Jets. This was the first Jet game all year where they had where the other team had a lead, and I knew that they would win. I don't know why. I'm things are tightening up a little bit. I can't really explain it. The team is playing really hard right now. Um, there's a lot of young talent on the team that is emerging that nobody really saw coming. One is Jawan Briggs at defensive tackle. Pretty much just filled right in for Quinn Williams. They picked him up from the Browns, and he's been a plus player for them so far. Another player they got from the Browns, quarterback Jarvis Brownlee, hasn't been great as of late, but when he first came in, he was fully healthy and making a big impact. So some positivity there. I'm trying to take some positivity, right? Adonai Mitchell looks like he could be one of the top 3 receivers in the room next year. Also, Mechie has a possibility of being number 4 if he finishes the year strong. I think Adonai's got a little bit more potential than Mechie. I like the tight end. Tight end is developing well. Looks like a player. Helps out in the run game. Brees is brought back in ever since his fumble that he had a few weeks a few weeks back in a game where they could have won, and it was kind of devastating for him. The coach kind of put his arm around him, and seems like Brees is kind of bought in. So it's really interesting what's going on. I'm interested to see when Garrett Wilson comes back and how bought in he looks. Because all the players that they sent away, you could tell they were just done being on this team, right? They were done with the losing. It was getting old. That now is very evident.
Yeah.
And there's a
Fire
new
sale.
face.
Fire sale.
It was almost, but not really, right? Because they still kept some pieces. Jermaine Johnson, they still kept Brees Hall. Man, Will McDonald. I mean, everybody was like, yeah, that pick wasn't very good. Okay, well, it looks all right. I mean, I like him so far, so he doesn't look like a bust. Um, and what's it? Jermaine Johnson coming back very nicely from his Achilles injury this year. The special teams unit is the best unit in the league. The only thing that's, it's like they don't have a Brandon Aubrey, so nobody talks about them. But realistically, when you look at them statistically in every facet of special teams, they're the best team in the league. So that's actually important to me. And why? Because that's usually the first thing that gets laid out during a rebuild. I remember the Parcells teams. The first team that he had with the Patriots after the Giants. That team started with rebuilding the special teams unit and then going from there. And then they had Drew Bledsoe, the quarterback, and they were good. And then when he went to the Jets, that first year was the same thing. They had a decent enough team to go 9-7, but wasn't quite good enough to make the playoffs. But the special teams unit turned it around that year. So I'm getting some positive vibes lately. They've won 3 of their last 5. I want wins. I don't want this tanking bullshit. That's not to me what builds a winning organization. I want wins. And right now the team is buying in. I'm not saying it's going to look like the same exact team that they have now next year. And I'm not saying that I believe in carryover, but I do believe in tendencies carrying over. Right? And that's what we see with good coaching with Dan Campbell and all these. I don't agree with the way Dan Campbell does his in-game stuff, but we see the progression of the team, right? It was very clear. Yeah, he started out bad, right? 2-10 or whatever it was, but then as soon as he started turning it around, it turned around, right? And it has not really changed since then. So being a fan of this team for goodness, as long as I've been a fan of them now for, I don't know, 28 years or 30 years, coming up on 30 years, probably, you, you have to take something out of this season. So what do I take? It's that Aaron Glenn is learning on the job. And the general manager has looked really good. I know all these moves aren't happening while Aaron Glenn is coaching the team. The general manager is working, okay, behind the scenes with the rest of the staff to make these moves, and the moves are hitting. So I can't say anything bad about the GM, and the draft was good. Armand Membu, if not for Tyler Warren, I'd bang the drum for him as offensive rookie of the year. I know how good Jackson Dart has looked. Armand Membu has stepped in and has been one of the best players at the position this year. I mean, you're supposed to hit on that pick, right? But then it looks like they hit on the other picks too, so far. So there is a lot to look forward to. Really curious, of course. It's all going to come down to what's the plan at quarterback. Do they believe in Tanner Engstrand long term? He's looked pretty good. And with competent quarterback play, you could see the offense actually does work. People are getting open. The running game works. They are getting Brees Hall more involved in the pass game. That's what I was looking for. In the beginning, it seemed like he didn't know what he was doing with any of these pieces, right? But now it looks like they're building it. They're building the identity. And I don't know if they need to pay Brees Hall or tag him or whatever, but he needs to be on the team next year.
Yeah, I mean, I probably couldn't say it any better. This was a quality win, in my opinion, for the Jets. Um, I think the Falcons fucking stink too, by the way. I think Raheem Morris is just a horrible coach, and I think he's a dead man walking.
They do,
Um,
but you look at their team, they're such a talented
they're
team.
so
They're like the
talented.
Jets from last year, where except they don't have, maybe the quarterback.
They're so
But
talented, and I feel like they should have way more wins. I think Raheem Morris needs to go. I mean, the GM obviously has put together a really good team. They don't have the right coach in place. I thought that was a really good win for the Jets. I thought Aaron Glenn easily outcoached Raheem Morris, and Aaron Glenn does seem like he's getting it. Like he looks like he's starting to get it. Like
and the
starting to get
media,
it.
and
Yes,
the way he's addressing the media,
it's different now.
somebody got to him. Somebody close to him got to him, reeled them in, and said, "Aaron, we're building this thing right now. Don't make it more difficult on yourself."
Yes. Yeah.
So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good win for the Jets. Tyrod Taylor looked competent. This is what I think because they have a lot of first round picks, right? They pretty much, if they want to, they can move up, move down. The general manager has been really good. This quarterback class this year is not good. It's just not. I mean, maybe Fernando could be something. I don't know if the Jets are going to be in prime position to take him. I think a team like the Raiders will be stupid and try to draft him.
Either the class isn't good, or the Jets are going to trade up to take Fernando Mendoza. So tell me which one you think it is.
I think
They already have a plan, but go ahead.
this is what I think.
Yes,
Okay. They shouldn't take a quarterback this year.
I agree.
They should wait until next year.
I agree.
Build this team with these new picks because I think this may not be crazy, but Kyler Murray is going to be available. I think you take a flyer because they're going to buy him out. The trade's not going to be necessary. They're going to buy him out of his contract. I think you could sign Kyler Murray to a short-term deal, take a flyer, have him be a stopgap for next year,
Sure.
and then take your quarterback because next year's the 2027 class is going to be stronger for quarterbacks. I don't think they should take one unless this GM is sold on Fernando. If
I
you're
want Arch
so
Manning.
yeah, well, of course you want Arch Manning because
I'm telling you right now. Like, see, everybody was killing this kid, and he's getting better and better and better every week. It might not happen this year. Probably not. I was my
so
wife saying it ain't happening
yeah.
because the offensive line's probably not good enough.
Oh God.
Anyway,
So yeah, I think the Jets have they have more wins than the Chiefs do in the last 5 weeks. I mean
yeah,
that's a big deal.
it
So
is.
yeah, we can move on.
Fair enough. I agree with you that I'm not excited about the quarterback class, but I never thought for a second they had their eye on the 2026 quarterback class. I could be wrong. Obviously, that all remains to be seen. I think they will go with a bridge option. I don't like Kyler Murray. I think there are better bridge options out there. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is one. He is still coming back from an injury.
Mac Jones.
That is very intriguing because now we're talking about a system quarterback, and it seems like that's kind of what Tanner Engstrand wanted to do all along. I mean, they were calling plays with Justin Fields like he was Jared Goff, and he's not Jared Goff, right? But they were checking to see, I guess, if he could be Jared Goff. But anyway, none of those people in that building are quarterback whisperers, right? I'm not expecting that. However, you go out in a couple of years with a great infrastructure in place and you bring in a young quarterback with a lot of talent and surround him with all this stuff like we did with Mark Sanchez, right? And we got pretty far doing that, right? We didn't get what we wanted, but we got pretty far. So it should be somewhat the model, right? Unless you get a good enough bridge in there to win or a veteran quarterback in there to win, that should be the model. Next with the Seahawks Vikings, man, the Vikings are in huge trouble. Kevin O'Connell is having nightmare upon nightmare upon nightmare, and he's probably having nightmares about, oh, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers and ayahuasca. He should have signed him. It was right there for him. They had the perfect team for him. Pittsburgh was not the perfect team for him. Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career needed to be in an environment like in a dome, right? A couple of games a year, right? Pittsburgh is rough, man, especially this time of year. I mean, that's physical. So, what's your take?
I think everyone in Minnesota should be fired because JJ McCarthy is one of the biggest busts I've ever seen in my life. Because you can make that call right now. You want to know why you can make that call right now? Because your head coach is the reigning coach of the year, who is a quarterback guru, right? And has had success with every single quarterback that has stepped foot in his offense since he came to Minnesota. You have Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to and Jordan Addison. You have two running backs that are pretty decent, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason to run the ball with.
Hawkinson.
They have TJ Hawkinson. They have a middle of the packed offensive line. The offensive line is not bad. They rank 16th or 17th in PFF focus.
Yeah.
There is no reason why the 10th overall pick should be in Jamarcus Russell stat territory. Okay? That's how bad this kid is. He's very, very evident that this is a bust. He should have never been a first round pick. There was
Yeah.
all this hype around him. Oh, he's a winner. He's a locker room guy. He's really accurate. He threw 10 passes in the national championship game. Can we stop? Like there was a reason why other quarterback gurus were passing on him. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this was a Kevin O'Connell pick. I think maybe someone sold him on the idea of this kid. And I think it was maybe the GM because he needs to go. This GM is terrible. The rest of this team is really, really strong. And to that GM's credit, he did build a strong team. But when you whiff this bad, because you let Daniel Jones leave, you let
And
Sam
Sam
Darnold
Darnold.
leave, that's fireable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because this
Yeah.
Vikings team is good. Everything else is good. This
Really?
quarterback is immensely horrible.
Yeah. I mean, you could make a case to wipe the whole building clean. And I like Kevin O'Connell, and everybody's been telling us for years how much of a genius this guy is.
I'll take him.
I get it. But if he had anything to do with the decision making at quarterback, you have to believe he did. This is
Yeah,
his
you
bread
have
and
to.
butter.
Yeah, he has to sign off on it.
So you can't tell me he isn't having nightmares. I mean,
Oh, nightmares.
this is literally the worst case scenario that could have possibly happened for them.
Yeah. And the Seahawks are another one of these teams that no one's talking about that's playing really well in the NFC. Sam Darnold's amazing.
Well, I think the reason why people aren't as excited as maybe they should be is everybody's waiting for the other shoe to drop with Sam Darnold, which I guess history would tell us that that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, which
Um,
is which is fair, but I mean, this is a quarterback that's now gone to what, four different teams, and he's produced like at a pretty decent level. I mean, he was really good for the Vikings last year.
yeah,
He's really good for the Seahawks this year. Like everywhere he goes, like, and yeah, he doesn't have the postseason success. He crapped all over himself last year with the Vikings, and but because maybe he just doesn't know what it's like to be there, and the lights do get bright, and we'll see what he looks like this year with the Seahawks because the Seahawks are going to the playoffs, and that was
it,
the right head coach hire in McDonald.
yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
That's
they're a very strong all-around team. It looks like a great fit for him. I'm not I like Sam Darnold. I root for him. I want to see him do well. So, kudos to him for having the year that he's having. And they have one of the best receivers in the league in JSN. And this is a guy who could play every position on the field at wide receiver. So, really, really interesting story the Seahawks are. I agree. Next was Bills Steelers. Yeah, the Bills just kind of overmatched them. The Steelers just don't look like they're prepared to play football in a lot of these games.
a problem. They look uninterested. The
Yeah,
Steelers just look uninterested. I
they
don't know if
do.
it's because these vets. First off, there's no young talent on this team. There's
No.
no young talent on the Steelers. It's T.J. Watt. Cameron Hayward is 38 million years old. The quarterback is 41 with a broken wrist.
Yeah,
It's just a nightmare scenario for the Steelers to see that the defense that's always been good under Tomlin is 26th in the league this year.
bad.
So if they finish with a losing season, which very much looks possible, and if they miss the playoffs, I could see this being the end for Mike Tomlin.
Do you want Tomlin off the Giants if that's the case? Is your number one option?
No, it's still Mike McCarthy, and I'll tell you why later.
Okay.
I the argument for Tomlin is he hasn't had a quarterback to work with in a while. And I think because he's had poor quarterback play, you can make the argument, oh well, he can't get over the hump because his quarterbacks stink. And when he had Big Ben, they were perennial 11, 12 win teams because the defense was strong, they were
Yeah.
rested. But this is also a team that, hasn't won a playoff games in, 8, 10 years. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of pros and cons with Tomlin, and I'm sure Giants fans would love Tomlin. I know Ray is a big Tomlin guy. I have my worries with him right now in terms of what the Giants need. I think he's someone that would bring major stability to this team because the Giants need a leader of men. And if the Steelers do decide to move off of him, the Giants would probably put him at number one on the list, and I would understand it completely.
I would too. I
So,
mean, I
but
understand the argument for McCarthy as well, but I know we'll get to that.
yeah. So,
Um,
but yeah, I mean the Steelers, they're dead in the water this year. Every Steelers fan will tell you that too. Sean is just so pissed because he knew that he's like, as soon as Rodgers got signed, he's like, this is not going to end well. Like they knew this wasn't the right move to make. Should have took Dart, passed on Dart. So, um, and the Bills are the Bills. The Bills they beat to the drum of Josh Allen and James Cook, and the defense sometimes decides to be good and sometimes decides to not be good.
yeah,
But they're not better than the Patriots. So, because
it
they got a
doesn't look
quarterback
like
now. And yeah, the Bills will go as far as Josh Allen will take them.
it.
That's really all I have to say.
Yeah. No, right now, I mean, the Patriots have been better, so it's tough to argue that. Next up was Chargers Raiders. I think we actually got a message from Pete that he was very upset that he had to watch his team play,
Yeah,
I think, during this game. 31-14. The Raiders are just, man, I mean, they're approaching non-competitive at this point.
Yeah, that's a team that will probably pick Fernando at like number 2 or 3 because they really actually don't have a choice. Because paying Geno Smith $85 million extra was abysmally terrible. They fired Chip Kelly, and then it was reported Chip Kelly couldn't run the offense he wanted to run because Pete Carroll is an asshole, apparently. And Pete Carroll has complete control of all coordinators and what they do, and it's just not working out. And he's going to be one and done. And Brady is not happy, and there's going to be major change and major turnover with the Raiders this offseason.
What a
So,
surprise.
what a surprise.
And you know what? I'm sorry, but Tom Brady running my team at this point is not attractive. How many jobs does this guy want to have at once? I mean, can you let somebody run the team if you're going to be an announcer? I don't know. I guess we'll find out later how
Yeah.
Pete continues to feel about
Yeah,
that.
and for as for the Chargers, Herbert broke his non-throwing hands. He had surgery. He's going to play on Monday. So expect them to run the ball a lot with a couple of throwing because Marion Hampton is set to return. Him and Vidal should have a really good tandem. They're missing both starting tackles that are all
I was going to
pros.
say their
So,
offensive line disintegrated,
yeah,
and they're holding it together.
yeah, it's John Harbaugh is just one of the best coaches in the league, and that's why I think the trend of hiring these older veteran coaches that know how to win and build programs are the right coaches to hire right now, and that's who I think the Giants will do at some point. But yeah, I mean the Chargers are still getting it done. The Raiders are continue to be, I mean, just terrible, just not even a laughing stock.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Next up was Broncos and Commanders. This was Sunday Night Football. Actually, really good game. Went into overtime. Broncos edged them out. Broncos just win these games, man. They just keep on churning out these wins. And this is what Sean Payton does. And it's not always pretty, but they get it done. And I know that you're saying there aren't a lot of contenders in the AFC, but they're certainly one of them.
Yeah, they're one of them. Washington is just, it's a lost season. Jaden Daniels is cleared to return. He's going to play this upcoming week. Mariota has played well in relief. I got to give my respect to Mariota.
Very good backup.
Yeah,
Very good backup.
you could do a whole lot worse than Mariota as your backup, and he kept them in that game. He still throws the errant pick here and there, but yeah, Denver just wins games. And I don't really know if I'm really sold on Bo Nix as a franchise guy, but they're doing enough to win. And he's Sean Payton's guy, and that's really all that matters. So Broncos look good. Washington, it's just a lost season.
Fair enough. Um, there were two other games before the Sunday night game that I didn't get to. Buccaneers, Cardinals. Buccaneers won 20-17. They're a team that's going through a lot of injuries right now, trying to get healthy, trying to regain the momentum.
Yes. We're trying to regain momentum. Baker, love Baker. Well coached team. Even with all the injuries, they're still winning. The Cardinals are another one of these teams that are just bottom feeders. Jonathan Gannon, also dead man walking. Kyler Murray going to be out. They're going to need a quarterback. The Cardinals, their future does not look bright.
Yeah, not very bright at all. Next was Panthers, Rams. Man, what an amazing job Dave Canales has done with the Panthers. I mean, this is a team nobody had any faith in whatsoever, and the quarterback has looked really good this year.
Yeah. Bryce Young, he still has his bad games that he's had this year. He's still been a little bit inconsistent, but when his good games are some of the best games you could ask a quarterback to have.
Yeah.
And Rico Dowdle has been an emerging star for them. Him and Chuba are a really good tandem. The rookie Tet McMillan, he's a really good wide receiver.
Yeah.
There's building blocks on this team, and they got good pieces on defense. Very quietly, a good team. They may sneak into the playoffs. Dave Canales done a really, really good job and turned the Panthers around when they had this massive, looming dark cloud of this clown show owner.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think the owner got people in his ear, and they're like, "Listen, you need to hire someone, and you need to go vacation and let them run the team." And it looks like that's what's happened because
It has.
Canales has done a good
Owners
job.
need to stay out of the way. And this is a memo to Johnson.
Next.
Sorry. And then the last game was the Monday night game for last week's slate of games, and was Patriots Giants. Patriots won 33-15, and the floor is yours.
I don't know if anyone can see my eye twitching, but that's my eye twitching. The Patriots just smashed them. I mean, the Giants already fired Daboll. They fired the defensive coordinator. I mean, Mike Kafka, he was a finalist for a couple of jobs this last offseason for his calm demeanor. He's prepared. He's a strong offensive coordinator. I mean, he had Jameis Winston dropping 30 on, teams like the Lions. So he's a strong OC, and I think he'll have a job as an OC for a while, and he may stay. I don't think he's going to be the head coach. The idea of him being the head coach was lost on me when he waved the white flag down 17-7.
Oh, yeah.
On the 40-yard line, 4th and 1, and you decide to punt. That's giving up. And that sends a big message to your team. As a Giants fan, we're just abysmal. Second worst record in the leagues for the last 10 years. 5 wins in your last 30 games. I mean, it's just the worst stretch of Giants football in the team's history. The only bright spot is Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo, and there's a few bright spots, like you said, because Troy Aikman made a very good statement. He's like, I know this team has only 2 wins, but this is one of the best 2-win teams you're going to see because there's talent on this team. There's a couple really good young stars and foundation pieces on this team, and they play hard. They have continued to play hard, but they just figure out. You want to know what it is? Losers lose. They figure out ways to lose games, and they've done that all year. Daboll is not a head coach. He was never a head coach. He's a strong offensive coordinator, a strong quarterbacks coach. He's the reason why Jackson Dart's here. Because clearly this wasn't Joe Shane's pick, and I'll get to Joe Shane in a second. But The only bright spots before I go completely scorched earth ballistic on this piece of shit team is Brian Burns is amazing. He is a monster on the defensive end. Dexter Lawrence, unfortunately, I don't think he's been healthy all year. I think he's had issues with his elbow. He had elbow surgery. He just doesn't look the same. I don't know
No.
if it's because he's checked out or if he's just healthy.
He looks a little uninterested, bro. This is what happens.
He looks uninterested, and that's what happens when you're not winning. Um, but I love Cam Scatterbo. The energy that he brings to the locker room is infectious. I mean, they have Malik Neighbors. The offensive line is finally good. It's finally good, and the right tackle is probably going to leave in free agency, which is
The center, you need a big upgraded center.
we need an upgraded center. Although he has improved this year, his pass block win rate and his run block win rate has improved as from last year. Like he is developing. You can do a lot better though. Still, the guard like the Giants. Seeing the Giants ranked 14th in total offensive line with a fifth in pass block win rate. I'm like, what is this? Is this the
It's like,
Twilight Zone?
yes,
You know?
it's like you said, they turned it around ever since Thomas has been back. Everything's stabilized.
Yeah. Andrew Thomas. I mean, no one talks about that guy. He did top three left tackle in football. The fact that he's able to anchor an entire offensive line is just insane. I mean, he has one quarterback pressure since coming back.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yeah,
So, which has been huge for Dart's development, in my opinion, as well. Dart, 18 touchdowns in 8 games, only like 3 or 4 picks. He's the real deal. This is the franchise guy. He's elevating the team around him. He's throwing to Darius Slayton and fucking Gunnar Olszewski and Theo Johnson, who either looks like the best tight end in the world or a practice squad tight ends. He just drops everything. Darius Slayton, good lord, get him off this team. Love him. He's one of these locker room guys that wants to be a Giant, wants to turn this around, and that's really why they paid him that kind of money. He's way overpaid, and Joe Shane needs to get launched into the sun. But that was a thank you for sticking with us contract type deal. So, but Bill Parcells, you are what you are, right? You are what your record says.
you are what your record says.
And they're 2-11, an abysmal defense, the second most expensive defense in the history of the NFL at $133 million invested. And there's talented pieces on this defense, but they've had the worst coaching possible that you could ever see, ever. I mean, just ever. I mean, Shane Bowen was the worst defensive coordinator maybe in Giants history, the worst defensive coordinator I've ever seen the Giants ever have personally. And the backup is no fucking better. And the third overall pick, Abdul Carter, yeah, I'm having issues with. And I think every Giants fan is having issues with. The talent is there. I mean, he's so talented as a pass rusher, it's insane. He needs to be interested to go to work. And Tiki Barber said it perfectly. You need to understand that there are dudes in New York City digging ditches for $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
And you need to realize that what you're doing is a privilege. And Lawrence Taylor also said the same thing. You need to realize what you do. You need to wake up. And he's been late to meetings all year. Daboll was fining him money behind the scenes, trying to get him to stop. Wasn't working, still uninterested, sleeping. Mike Kafka's really trying to hammer him with benching him for the whole first half.
Oh yeah, that worked.
Yeah, as soon as he comes back in the second half, he has a sack immediately. It's like you might as well just play him. Like he doesn't care.
Either sit him or play him.
Yeah, either sit him or play him. There's just nothing. There's nothing that you can do, and this is why they need a strong head coach. This general manager needs to go. If the Mara family are serious about winning, and I'm having my questions about John Mara, because he's probably one of these old head owners where it's like, well, I've won this many Super Bowls, and I know what it takes to win a Super Bowl. Great. I'm so thankful for you that you brought me 2 Super Bowls, but you also had Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin. Like that kind of helps. So they need to hire the right coach, number one. I hate this idea that, this is like the Bears and, they kept the GM and they hired the right coach and they're 9-4. This GM is terrible. I'm not giving him any credit for drafting Malik Neighbors at 6 overall. I'm not
That's
giving him
fair.
any credit for drafting Abdul Carter third overall
That's
when
fair.
his entire 2023 draft class is out of the league. Okay? Deontay Banks is unplayable. Evan Neal, unplayable. I mean, these are massive whiffs. Giving Darius Slayton $40 million to be a wide receiver four is absolutely abysmal. And he's been a horrible, horrible drafter. He spent
Oh,
a lot of
it's
money on this
been
defense.
really bad with the draft.
Really bad. He spent a lot of money. He's hit or miss with free agency. The Brian Burns move is probably his best move that he made. And so, signing him
Yes,
to that contract now that contract looks like a steal in comparison to the others defensive
great move.
pass rushers. That's the only good move that he really did. And Cam Scatterwood in the fourth round, I'm not giving him any credit because Cam Scatterwood should have went in the second round, but he went in the fourth because of bullshit reasons. Oh, he's too slow, or we don't know if he's gonna make it in the NFL level. We don't know if he's too small. It's like just bullshit reasons. And I'm not giving him any credit for Jackson Dart. That was Brian Daboll's pick. And, Brian, that's why you brought in Daboll, right? To identify the franchise quarterback. And they identified him. It's just Brian Daboll can't be a head coach. So now this owner who's a dead man walking had the worst press conference I think I've ever seen a Giants press conference ever. Just ever in my entire life. I mean, he said, I understand the question maybe 8 times. I understand the question. I understand the question. And all Giants fans were in unison rooting for our most hated beat writer, and that was Pat Leonard. Every Giants fan,
Leonard.
every Giants fan hates Pat Leonard with a passion because he just does nothing but bash them for his podcast. So that's why we don't like them. So whereas Jordan Renan and Art Stapleton, they're beat writers and they don't have this other agenda. Is that
Yeah, and Jordan Renan grew up a Jet fan.
yeah. So, and Connor Hughes does both Jets Giants. Love Connor Hughes.
He's the best.
He's the best. He's really turning into the best New York beat writer that you can have.
Yeah.
But you know what? Pat Leonard, to his credit, asked the hard questions. And the one main question that I wanted him to ask, and he asked it. He said, "How come Brian Daboll was held accountable for this team and you weren't?" And there was a non-answer from Joe Shane. All he said was, "Well, I'm going to be evaluated at the end of the year." That's a dead man walking. He knows he's gone. There's no way that the Mars can keep this guy. I don't care if they go on this because they're going to play some really shitty teams to end this year. They're going to play the Raiders. They're going to play the Commanders. Like they're going to play some poor teams here. The softer part of their schedule finally. I don't care if they win.
Y'all aren't a given to beat the Commanders.
I don't want this guy back. I don't care if they go
I
on
know.
this little run.
I know.
He needs to go. Take someone from the Rams organization, take someone from the Chiefs organization that knows how to draft players and bring in players in a new age football mind. I don't give a shit that Joe Shane got rid of the Wii remotes and the little fucking chalkboards for the draft room, okay? Anyone and their sister would have done that if they had hired a different GM too. I don't want to hear it. So, he modernized the Giants, and the Mars are like, wow, look at this draft room. There's lights and televisions, and give me a break. Get the player personnel out of here. Get Chris Moore out of there. They don't know what the hell they're doing because we need a head coach. We need a head coach. That is more important than the GM right now, but this GM needs to go because Jackson Dart needs a head coach. I've said it on the podcast before. Needs to be Mike McCarthy. Has to be Mike McCarthy. Unless Tomlin's available, I could see them getting Tomlin. And the only assistant you could sell me on is Chris Shula. And the only reason why you could sell me on Chris Shula is because every single Sean McVay coach that's gotten a head coaching job has done phenomenal. And everyone from his tree has done phenomenal. Kevin O'Connell being a big example. I love anyone from the Sean McVay tree because then maybe you take the assistant GM under Les Snead there. He built the Rams. He continues to build the Rams. They're always good. You could sell me on that. Sure. Perfect. Fine. You could sell me on that. But it needs to be Mike McCarthy. He should be at the top of the list. He develops quarterbacks. He is a consistent winner. He's won a Super Bowl. He had 3 straight 12-win seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. Giants fans would really, 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 really like that right now. You know, when you're 2-11 for 2 straight years, and there are Giants fans online, they're like, I don't want Mike McCarthy. He didn't win anything with the Cowboys. You're just fucking retards. Sorry. Not,
Yeah.
not anti PC. Sorry. That wasn't very PC, but I don't care. I'm hyped up. I'm fired up. You're just dumb. You're low intelligent people. You need to get off Twitter. I have so many like big time Giants fan influencers that I've just blocked because I'm like, you're just stupid. You're low IQ human beings that I can't believe you're a fan of my team. Yeah, let's not want a Super Bowl winning head coach when we have guys like Sean McVay, Sean Payton, Mike Vrabel, John Harbaugh, just killing it and revitalizing all these other teams. You know,
Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. Sorry, Jim Harbaugh. Well, John Harbaugh too. Like, this is John Harbaugh too. Either way.
Oh yeah, I mean you would love John
Yeah.
Harbaugh.
So I don't want an assistant. I don't want this new young kid. Oh, he's the next best thing. Offensive genius, 38 years old.
No, no,
No,
no more.
I can't. I can't do it. I'm
Need
only sold.
stabilization, like you said.
Yeah, I'm only sold on Chris Shula because he helps. He would fix the defense immediately, and maybe he's a leader. Maybe, like, you could, like I said, you could maybe sell me on a McVay guy, but it has to be either McCarthy or Tomlin if he's available, and I think Tomlin's going to be available. And there are Giants fans like Leonard and Rich. They're a little hesitant with Tomlin. I gave those reasons earlier why I would be a little hesitant with Tomlin too. But my top pick is McCarthy. It has to be McCarthy. He helped Dak get to MVP status. And the Giants are just a laughing stock. They're a shit team that need a stabilizing force. They need to get rid of this GM. They need to make the right moves. And this is going to be an attractive job. This will be the most attractive job in the league. Top 10 pick, Jackson Dart. You're, that's it. Jackson Dart, top 10 pick.
Did you hear McCarthy's comments on Jackson Dart's style of play?
Yes. And I'm very glad you brought that up. That kid needs to protect himself. I know he's young. I know that's his style. I know he wants to lower the shoulder and juice up the energy and bring the guys up around him and fire them up. And it's very clear that this team rallies around him. Like, he has this team by the balls. Like, you could tell immediately as soon as he started, he's like, this is my fucking team, So, and I love that. And I'm so glad that he's here. You got to slide, get out of bounds. We need you here for 10 years, 15 years. You're 23 years old. I don't need you here for 3 and then you're a vegetable because you're getting hit a million times.
Right.
I don't want him to stop running. I want him to run. I want you to slide. Because guess what? Josh Allen slides. Pat Mahomes slides. He made that comment in the press. Well, I'm not changing my style of play. No one's asking you to change your style of play. We're asking you to protect yourself.
I think that's the most frustrating thing is that he's not understanding
He's
that.
not understanding it. He's a rookie. He's a young quarterback. He's a young quarterback that feels like he needs to carry this entire shithole team on his back because he has an interim head coach that's just like, well, who do we play this week? And it's just like, oh, we have we have the Raiders here, and they rank this, and we're gonna scheme this open here for you, and we're gonna hope you have a really good game.
Hey,
So
at least there are computers in the building now.
oh, thank God for computers. Oh God, I'm so happy that Joe Shane brought modernization to the New York Football Giants. I'm tired. We're tired. Giants fans are tired.
The Giants might actually be using some like enterprise level things like Microsoft Azure and things like that for all we know now.
Just shoot me. Just shoot me. And there are some Giants fans that are just so funny. They're like, I don't know if we'll ever be good again. And you know what? I don't know if we'll ever be good again either because there's talent on this team and they still stink. So that's my thoughts.
With the quarterback of your dreams.
Yeah. We finally have we have Josh Allen 2.0 people. Like we have
Right.
Josh Allen 2.0. It's the facts, it's the truth. I don't care if people don't agree with it. That's just what
No,
it
it
is.
is. It is. But the problem is that he isn't as big and strong as Josh Allen. So
No.
he won't play as long as Josh Allen.
He's not 6'5", 250.
Right.
He's 6'2", 210.
It's yet to be seen if Josh Allen is going to make it to 15 years. He's only at 8. So we got some time.
So that's my frustrating thoughts on the Giants. They're losers. They're an embarrassment. They need so much help. They need a facelift. They need corrective surgery. They need cancer being removed via lasers. I don't know what needs to be done. Sell the team if you need to. I don't care. You
That's
know, it's never going to happen. I mean, either John Mara, he's sick right now, and it sucks that he's sick, and my prayers go out to him.
and
Maybe
that's the only reason that Joe
he
Shane still
needs to.
has his job.
Yeah, and he's Joe Shane will be gone at the end of the year because the pitchforks in the New York media will be at the door, and
I mean, they were there at the press
yeah,
conference.
they were already there at the press conference, and I think the reason why Joe Shane was 40 minutes late was because they were like, "Listen, Joe, you're gone. Well, we're gonna let you finish out the year. Have fun with the media."
Do you know what I think he did? I think he was late on purpose to cool him off.
Yeah, I think they said, "Listen, you got to chill out before you just go scorched earth on everybody here." And you know what? Maybe that was the right thing to do. I'll touch on the Patriots a little bit so that we can get our picks in and kind of wrap up this
Yeah,
evening.
it's getting late.
Um, the Patriots are the real deal already, and they still have so much room to grow, which is crazy. I get it. They've had a soft schedule, right? They've had a pretty soft
I
schedule.
don't care about this.
I
I
don't,
don't
I
care
don't, I
about
don't,
that.
I don't. You winning 10 games in a row is incredibly difficult in the NFL. I don't care what their schedule is.
Yeah,
Mike Vrabel is the team. The second year leap that Drake May has had is almost insane. I mean, this is an MVP caliber quarterback in year two, and he doesn't really have a lot of good weapons around him, and which is crazy. Like his best wide receiver is Hunter Henry, and he's 73% completion percentage, leading the league in passing yards, with Hunter Henry being the number one target. I mean, he's spreading the ball out evenly amongst everybody. Kayshon Boutte, Stephon Diggs has been okay. I guess, this is the corpse of Stephon Diggs, who's, banging Cardi B. So,
he's not.
yeah, he's not the
He,
same.
yeah.
The defense is a Mike Vrabel defense. So, I mean, they're contenders. The Patriots are back. They were only bad for a couple of years, and they're here to terrorize the league again. And, Drake May, there's a reason why the Giants tried to trade 4 first-round picks for Drake May. They knew this kid was going to be something special, and he clearly is. So,
Yep. And as a Jet fan, it's a horrifying thought that they may have already been rebuilt because I mean, yeah, they have been already rebuilt. I don't know why I said may. I mean, they're the number one seed and they're the best team right now. So I said it last time I was on the podcast. I'll continue to say it. The number one priority on my offseason wish list going into this football season was Mike Vrabel. I said, this is Bill Parcells Jr., and whoever gets him wins the offseason. I don't give a shit about player movement. You could talk to me all you want about the draft. I said, whoever signs Mike McCarthy wins the offseason. And we see what coaching still does in the NFL, man. I mean, look at Johnson with the Bears. You look at, not really yet, but Aaron Glenn might be turning things around with the Jets. Um, there is, this was a very good coaching cycle this past one. You came away with maybe 2 or 3 guys who were good. One we knew for sure was good, and now look what he's doing. I mean, the special teams. I mean, you could point to anything you want. The fact that he didn't trust the rookie running back right away. Everybody thought he was just going to unleash him. No, that's not the way that these coaches work like him. He's going with trusted guys in positions of strength. Young players develop. That's the way it works under him. And it's going to be a machine. And it almost doesn't matter. what kind of quarterback play they get out of Drake May, even though they're getting elite play, MVP level play right now. It just seems like he can't do anything to hurt them. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that being said, let's move to the picks.
Yeah.
Um,
Picks in so we can wrap it up.
yep.
First, Titans Browns. I got the Browns pretty easily. I mean, the Titans are barely even a football team. You know, that team's got no future. At least the Giants have somewhat of a future. The Titans got nothing. The Browns and Shador Sanders' third career start. Pete also has the Browns. Who do you got?
Because the Browns are clinging to a playoff spot, I think they're going to do the most Brown thing ever to their fans, and they're going to lose to the Titans this week. I'm going to take the Titans money line. Give me, and it's plus 180, so it's actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. The line is only 4.5 points, but yeah, it's like Vegas is screaming for you to take the Browns. So I'm going Titans.
Next, Seahawks Falcons. I'm taking the Seahawks. Falcons have still no Drake London. Um, Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Raheem Morris is poop. So I'm going to take the Seahawks pretty easily, and so does Pete. I mean, 6.5 point spread on FanDuel. I don't know what yours are, but yikes.
Yeah, I've got 7. So um, I'm probably going to be one of the lone guys on this one. To me, this is the Seahawks who are coming off of high, right? Going across the country to a team that just experienced a very low against a bad team. Now, you could argue they are a bad team. They still got some talent. I'm going to take the Falcons plus 7 here.
Next, Commanders Vikings. It's just I'm not picking the Vikings. They have the worst quarterback play in the league. Jaden Daniels is coming back. I understand the Commanders' defense has been really bad this year, but it does not matter. I can't believe that the line is as close as it is.
Yeah,
I think because the Vikings' defense is still just that good, and the Vikings have a winning record at home. But
I think that's the only reason.
yeah, that's the only reason. I'm taking the Commanders, and so is Pete.
I'm taking the Commanders money line.
Next, Bengals Bills in Buffalo. A quarterback showdown on the slate between Joe and Josh Allen. But I'm going to pick the Bills. I think the Bills are just the better team. You got two elite quarterbacks going at it. Pete is also taking the Bills. Pretty decent sized line, too.
Yeah, they're in Buffalo. I have a feeling that the Bills are going to start to turn it up a little bit because this is when they usually start to do that if they hadn't already. So I'm going to take the Bills money line. I don't trust them giving the 5.5 points.
Next is Saints Bucks in Tampa Bay. I'm going with the Bucks. You got to be kidding me. The Saints, please. Bucks also for Pete.
Trying to find this game. Sorry. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, yeah, Buccaneers are giving 8.5 points. This is a divisional matchup. 8.5 is a lot of points, but I am going to take the Buccaneers giving it.
Next, Steelers Ravens in Baltimore. I'm still going to pick Baltimore. I mean, the Steelers just look worse, in my opinion. The Ravens defense is better than the Steelers defense. I don't know what you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers because the wrist is clearly bad enough where it's hampering him. You know, I don't know if Mason Rudolph comes in relief and does anything. Even with Lamar not being 100%, it is still, I mean, the line for Pete is 5.5. I wouldn't take the line for 5.5. I'm going to take
No.
the Ravens money line, and he's going to take the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go Ravens money line as well. It's tough to trust the Steelers right now, especially their defense. But because the Ravens haven't been exactly a potent offense, I do agree that giving the points is dangerous.
Next, Dolphins Jets AFC East matchup in MetLife. Giants are on a bye this week. Good, they can't make me mad. I'm going with the Jets. I like the Jets better than the Dolphins. I think they're playing better. Tyrod Taylor's looked pretty decent. I could see the Dolphins getting a win here, but I don't think they will. I think the Jets continue to finish with their fourth win in the last 6 games, and Aaron Glenn keeps showing a little something. And Pete also is going with the Jets.
Tell up if you're listening. If this game was in Miami, I would actually take the Dolphins, but they don't play well in cold weather. So
They
I'm
don't, and
taking the
it's
Jets.
freezing here. So Jets all around. Next is Broncos Raiders. This is my blowout of the week. I'm going to take the Broncos. I mean, the Raiders are barely a football team, and of course, Pete's going to always pick the Raiders because he's a special human. But yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos in my blowout.
It's tough not to take the Broncos, even giving 7.5 points in a divisional matchup. So that's what I would do. Feel pretty good about that.
Yeah. Next is Rams Cardinals. I'm going to take the Rams. Jacoby Brissett is still the quarterback there. No Marvin Harrison Jr. No Greg Dortch either. I don't even know who the hell their running back is. I mean, the Cardinals are an abyss right now. So I'm going to take the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. They're an abomination. I don't understand the line. The Rams are only giving 4 points. I don't know. I
The
don't know
ran
what Vegas
the
is trying to
line
say here
the line that I'm seeing is 8.5.
for the Rams Cardinals game.
Yeah, 8.5.
Man, it must have moved big time. But I pulled this today, and
Pete just pulled it before we potted, so that means it
okay,
moved 4 in the last few hours.
yeah, these were a combination of results, I guess. But okay, with that being the line, I would just go Rams money line because it is a divisional game and it is in Arizona, and the Cardinals have played teams tough at home in the division.
Yeah. Pete's also going Rams, obviously. Next is my personal game of the week. We got Bears Packers. I'm going to pick the Packers in Lambeau. I know both teams can play well in cold weather, but I think the Packers are a little bit better. I think this is the game where Caleb Williams shows his true colors a little bit. But if the Bears win this game, we got to have a serious conversation about the Bears.
They're gonna win they're gonna win the division if they win this game.
I think this game is for the division.
It
I
is
think this is the biggest regular season game the Bears have had in
since they went
almost,
to the Super Bowl.
yeah, since they went to the Super Bowl. And I think this is a big game for the Packers too. I do think the Packers, unfortunately, pull it out. I know I root for Nikasi's Bears because I love Nikasi's Bears. So, but I think the
How could
Packers
you not?
yeah, how can you not? Packers get the win, in my opinion. Pete also has the Packers.
What's the line for Pete?
6.5.
Okay, that's what I have too. Yeah, I would just go Packers money line here.
Yeah, I would too. Next is my upset of the week. Texans versus Chiefs in Arrowhead. I'm going to pick the Texans. This is the number one defense in the league. The Chiefs are missing 3 starting offensive linemen. I know it's really, really hard to play in Arrowhead. I understand that completely. But D'Amico Ryans has them playing prepared and hungry every week. The Texans are on a little bit of a run here. This is my upset. Going Texans. Pete also taking the Texans.
I can't fully trust the Texans in Arrowhead, even with how they've been playing. However, I do like that they're getting 7 points, so I will take them with the points.
Okay. So FanDuel has them at 3.5.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so I have them getting 7 points. Huh.
I think because the injury reports came late today. Like they came in at around 6 p.m. So
Updated Texans Chiefs betting line. Let's see what it is now. Yeah, Chiefs -3.5.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would go Texans with the points.
And finally, Monday Night Football, Eagles Chargers in Los Angeles. I'm going to pick the Eagles. I don't really know what Justin Herbert's going to look like with a surgically repaired hand on 1 week's rest. That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
But it is his non-throwing hand.
it is his non-throwing hand, so like he could still throw the ball. It's just pretty much pain management at that point. I am going to take the Eagles though because I think the defense is going to get home with a banged up Chargers offensive line, and Peter's also taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this could be a get right spot. Just they're just so talented, man. I mean, eventually that talent's got to win out. So, and unless there really are huge problems going on, yeah, I see them winning this game. I'll take them money line.
All right, and to finish it all up, my fantasy player of the week is Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. No Marvin Harrison Jr., no Greg Dortch. He averages 10 catches and 168 receiving yards in Marvin Harrison Jr.'s absence. So could be a possible playoff clincher for any playoff hopeful team in fantasy. My sleeper is Devin Neal, running back for the Saints, based on pure volume. There's no Alvin Kamara again, so he'll get 20 touches. And that's what I got.
I think Bucky Irving is going to be the fantasy player of the week against the Saints. And my sleeper pick of the week for fantasy is Romeo, not Dobbs, but what's the other guy? Wims.
Uh, Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, Dontavian Wicks for the Packers. I think he's going to haul in another touchdown.
All righty. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. This was a long one. This was a good one. This is the first time that me and Dan have done one solo dolo together in a long time, maybe a couple years, since me and Dan have done one just by ourselves, which is kind of cool. Brotherly love action in HEB land and the tri-state area.
Love it.
But we'll be back next week. Hopefully, Pete will be on. Ray will be on. I'm still trying to get all four of us on. Still trying to get the core four on here. For life happens. Life happens. So, but those are always fun. Dan, it was a pleasure. Loved doing this again with you. This was epic. Horns up down in Texas.
Let's
Yeehaw.
go.
Yeehaw.
Let's go.
With that being said, thank you everyone for watching, listening, liking. We got cards that Pete made up, stuck them all around Nashville. So hopefully we got some new listeners, watchers, and all that stuff. I'm ready to keep rolling and keep chugging along. So thank you everyone once again, and have a good night.